Life all depends upon how you see it. No matter what your circumstances, who you are, where you go, how little you have, or how rich you might be, in this life, the greatest treasure we own is our treasure of perspective.
I hope you'll be pleased to hear that I survived my operation last week. Thursday, the 25th of September was officially one of the longest days I think I've ever had. I arrived at the hospital at about 12:30 p.m. and figured I'd probably have to wait a little while, but I was definitely not prepared for what was in store for me. The lovely part about it was that I got to speak to several different doctors who explained my procedure and what would be happening and gave me the opportunity to ask them any questions that I might have. I wanted to elaborate a little more on what I had done so that you can understand it better. The pressure in my eye is very high. Before anything else can be done to my eyes to help my sight, that pressure needs to be controlled. The point of this operation was to put a tiny microscopic valve into my eye, kind of like a small tube that would drain all the pressure out. I've been told by my consultant that it's the shape of a computer mouse, but obviously a lot smaller. I then had a lovely nurse helping me fill out a hefty amount of paperwork, my favourite part of which was when she had to describe my overnight bag. I think she was expecting your generic pink or flowers or something girly. After an animated double take, she amusingly concluded that she simply needed to write the word cowboys. They'd know exactly who that one was for. I then got to put on some extremely attractive green stockings, and man did I look good in those. A couple of hours later, after sitting in the waiting room sporting my beautiful stockings, I was told that in the morning 2 eye trauma cases had come in, which had pushed everyone's operations back. At 5 o'clock, I finally got to complete my dashing hospital ensemble by adorning the lovely gowns they give you to wear to your operation. But the wait wasn't over. I watched as nurses, receptionists, cleaners, everyone seemed to leave the hospital in turn, everyone apart from me. And then at last, at 6:30, I was called in to my operation. By this time, the general anaesthetic didn't have to work very hard to take effect. The next thing I could remember, I was waking up in a hospital bed with an eye patch over one eye, feeling rather sore, and hearing people talk to me from what seemed like a very long way away. It was over, and I was relieved. I arrived back on my ward at 9 p.m. at night, soon followed by my frantic parents who were intrigued to see if I was okay. I was so exhausted I could barely talk to them, so they concluded it was probably best to come back in the morning. I'm still not sure how, but by some miracle I managed to muster a smile every time a nurse came to check my blood pressure, once every hour. Each time I was thankful that the verdict was a good one, and I slowly drifted in and out of sleep. Before I knew it, it was the next morning, and I had more smiling staff happily chatting to me and offering me hot buttered toast. My heart skipped a beat when the doctor came to check me over and told me that my eye pressure was still high. But I was reassured that I would see my consultant in the afternoon, and that Friday was my lucky day as fish and chips were on the menu for lunch. My parents rejoined me and we went to visit the clinic to see my wonderful consultant. He told me not to worry. Sometimes these things just take a little while to come into action. He made me an appointment for a few days later to check up on it, and I'm still very much hoping that all will be well when I go back. Thankfully, I got to come home that evening. It was good to be back in my own house. Good to have a bath, good to feel clean, and wonderful to get the chance to relax. The left side of my face felt very beaten up. My eye stung like an open wound. But honestly, none of my physical pain compared to how emotionally overwhelmed I was. In my heart, I have always been the same as everyone else. I have never wanted to let anything hold me back. I have never wanted to show any physical weakness. But some things in life highlight a reality I have never wanted to accept. The reality that my life is different to other people's. And it's a reality that terrifies me more than anything else in the world. One which breaks my heart. Pain greater than any operation I can ever imagine having. It's a very strange feeling when all you want to do is cry, but you're too afraid that you might further damage your already assaulted and very bloodshot eye if you do. Throughout my time in hospital, I was flooded with messages of support, love, and happy wishes. I read them at a time both literally and emotionally very dark, in the middle of the night, laying in my hospital bed, craving encouragement more than you can imagine. I clung on to their strength, and I let their hope light a fire in my heart. After all, how could I possibly give up on myself when so many people believed in me that much? There is no worthy way to tell someone how much they have done for you, that they have saved you, and that they have given you faith in yourself that you couldn't have without them. It is one of the most powerful feelings in the world, and one that I can't really put into words. I am still recovering, both physically and emotionally. Both forms of pain have their good days and their bad days, but equally, each day, both aspects of me get a little bit stronger. I believe that sometimes we have to go through bad things in life to be able to see how amazingly strong we are and how much strength other people can give to us. Operations test your mind and body to the limits, but the rewards are always worth the struggle. Without all the loving support surrounding me, I would never know that it's not about how many times you get cut up in life, but instead about the beautiful way that people can put you back together, better, stronger, and seeing things more clearly than ever before.